Hello, and welcome to another video. But look, it's not Dark Souls. Yeah, I can't post, art videos as regularly as I'm gonna do with Dark Souls, because Dark Souls, all of it is already there. All the content I need to film is already there. Whereas, of course, with all my art and the sketchbooks, I need to make that content, and my camera is standing very precariously. So if it suddenly falls over halfway through this and I have to move it, then that's because the camera's fallen over. But I have finished my first year of animation. Yippee! I passed. Did more than a pass. I got a first in my animation. With this, I got a 2-1, and I think I was 3% off a first, which is quite aggravating. If you hear lots of rustling of paper, that's just because there's going to be a lot of paper. But I'm going to take you through start to finish what I did for my life drawing during this animation course, and you might do life drawing on other artistic courses, like fine arts and other stuff like that, because it helps you build up shapes and how to break down a human to their basic form, and then build it back up again so it's easier to draw. So, that is me, that is my name. So I'm just gonna flip. Okay, I can already tell this is gonna be a struggle. The first few pages are, to you, probably just look like they're a lot of squiggles. They are just a lot of squiggles. Because Neil, our life drawing teacher, was saying, you've gotta break it down to just a few lines. You've gotta find the line within the person. And you've gotta push the shape. And for someone who only really drew portraiture in A-level and fine art, this was kind of difficult for me. I had to really look at the shape that the life model was doing, and I had to try and get this down to some very basic shapes. And then we had to, from there, you can see a little bit with this one here, we had to then, once we've got that basic shape, so here, the line obviously curves all the way up with the person sitting. We then had to fill that person out to start making them look a bit more, human. And you can definitely tell here, we still had to keep it as simple as possible. Oh god, you can see that here, very janky leg. And throughout this, I just learned very quickly that there are shortcuts on how to draw things. And when you only have 2 minutes to draw a pose, you need to learn shortcuts when you only have that certain amount of time to draw a pose and convey what that person is doing. And so here you see lines across here, but that's because I drew a triangle first, because she looked like a triangle, and a triangle there, and I hope Neil hasn't taken out. Neil said he'd take out some of my work and to put it with a few others on the wall. And so some of my best work, hopefully, should still be in there. But a little further on, we have jumped increasingly, very suddenly, to my magical red pencil. I would advise getting a coloured pencil if you're doing life drawing. It's just a lot softer than a regular pencil, and it looks nicer. It just bounces off the page a bit more. We had to design a character for one of our many briefs given by Neil, and then we had to apply this to the life drawing model. Now my character is a native Indian child, and it was very difficult sometimes because she's very small and the character is not, but I tried my hardest to kind of balance the straight with the curves. So this one's a good one because I've got the straight of the leg and the curve of the leg here. That one's good. I like that one. I like that one as well. I'm gonna sneeze because it's hay fever season. Please don't sneeze. Do more here. That was a good one. But you can start to figure out shortcuts for your drawings. And so Neil every week would try and mix it up a little bit. And so as we progressively move on, you can see compared to the beginning, I've got more structure here, a lot more structure, and I'm slowly developing my drawing skill to actually fill out a person, and it looks like a person now, not just, a curved line. The next thing Neil made us do was to silhouette out the character and just block it off. So when you design characters, you have to always draw out a silhouette to make sure that the silhouette is interesting to and appealing. So it isn't just a blob. And if it's appealing in a silhouette, then it will be appealing when it's not in a silhouette. So we were made to do that. No silhouette. Here we were blocking people out through blocks, trying to see if we could, if this was a better way of drawing for us, kind of proportion-wise, and then to extend this and push this as far as we could go, which led to many slender arms. Many slender arms and slender legs. Don't do it, kids. Don't slender your peeps. He kept saying, push the shapes. And so it got to some very weird and wacky drawings. Here I come a bit more loose with my drawing, and that's not good. I've got to be strong and more bold. And then I was told that. Hang on. Are we getting there yet? Almost getting there. I'm starting to learn shortcuts with the legs. But still, I'm still pretty dang terrible here. Yeah, this is my favorite pose with the leg because it just flows very nicely. A lot of the time, I do break the back, but it's fine because as long as you push the shape, it's fine. Here again, we had to pick another character, but yeah, let me just quickly, more character stuff. Here we go. We had to draw them and then go over and pen to finalize them. One of my best poses, purely because it just flows and it has a good contrast between the straight and the curve. And you will hear your tutors say a lot, you've got to push your shapes. Go with the straight and the curve. Always keep pushing the shape, and it's just constant. And there will be quite a few random doodles on here as well, because when you do live drawing with your friends, like this, you will jump from each other's to draw silly faces on them and stuff. You find your own entertainment when you go to do this for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. But that is all the rough life drawing that I did. And I think my end result wasn't particularly good because he got us drawing down to about 15 seconds, which wasn't fun. Not fun at all. Okay, if you can now suddenly hear just somebody drilling outside, it's because they're doing roadworks exactly outside my flat. But here I have 2 sketchbooks, which one I've been working with throughout the entire year until it was handed in, and this one, which was given by my nana, which is very lovely indeed, and I've started doing a Don't Break the Chain, which is you draw every day to keep your drawing skill up, because I don't want to lose that over the summer. So I would recommend any book. As long as it's got decent paper, any book. These guys here, they do some of the best paper. 150 GM squared aesthetic free cartridge paper. People ask me, what paper do you use? And a good thick paper that isn't textured. That is good paper. So I started this before I did animation. And I copied quite a lot of images that I saw online and kind of tried to replicate them in my book. So a lot of these are like drawings that people have done on the internet, and I've tried to copy them into my book. But then a lot of them, such as these, it's me trying to experiment a bit more and do it myself. Because I can draw people, it's just before animation I couldn't really draw them stylized. I could understand the proportions of a regular person, but I could never do it stylized. So again, with the magical red pencil, I was doing Dungeons and Dragons at the time, and so I've got a female Drada here. Terrible. Proportions are terrible. All of these, I'm looking back at them now and I just kind of shudder slightly. But it's a nice filled book, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to just, not every time, you don't want to dedicate just one page to a single drawing. You want to fill every single nook and cranny that you can do possibly. And so here I was experimenting with different characters, especially male characters, because I've never really drawn male characters before. I always used to draw girls because they're the easiest to draw. It's easy to make someone look effeminate, but as soon as you try and look someone masculine, it's kind of difficult. So I was going through this, and then looking at different like aspects of the body. So there's feet, and then also different poses, and trying to stylize characters. It's not very good here. I'm gonna have to admit, my early work, not very good at all. it looks nice and compact, which is great, but some of the stuff is just not good compared to the stuff that I design later on and completely finish. Which I will possibly, if you guys want, like the video or comment down in the bottom if you would like a video of all the drawings I've done on Photoshop, because it's a completely different quality. And so here I've been trying to draw. This is Neil, my life drawing teacher. And then he got us to draw as part of life drawing. He sent us, gave us different briefs every week, and so we had to go out, which I didn't. I just looked up pictures on the internet, and go around and draw different landscapes. And I think I did 10. Life drawing 8. Yeah, I think I did 10. And then a couple of doodles with the short film that I actually did. That was actually what she was gonna look like to begin with, and some concept art. Now this might look weird, but this is hand warming up. Draw dot here, gotta draw a straight line from one point to the other. Sounds easy, right? No, it's difficult. And then also you gotta just draw a shape continuously with a good solid line. You gotta not doubt yourself. And again, perspective, blocks and perspective. I think I missed a page. No? Okay. Storyboard, or character design, cubes in different perspectives. He got us to do a lot of cubes, because to understand the human body, you obviously have to understand the 3D block, which is the simplest of shapes, probably to understand the isosphere, and also that in motion. And so what he did is he got us to build he got us some wooden kid blocks, and we then had to build that, but then we had to memorize it and redraw it from a different angle, which I think I did pretty well. And so here I've got more doodles and stuff. I didn't really have a purpose with this book, and so that's why it's a bit, all over the place. That's one of my favourite drawings in this book. She was one of my Shadowrun characters. But there is no purpose with this book, hence why there are doodles off the wazoo in this book, and everything is just like random, from realistic to cartoons and stuff, and oh god, there we go. And then I got into drawing life drawing again, and these are some of my better work, much better work here. And then of course I did a few character designs here, and a little bit more life drawing, and then that's all I did in this book. I've started off with some doodles once a day, a little child Cthulhu, and just some doodles. And then later on I've just got like a storyboard and stuff. But what I would recommend is, if you're going to do an artistic course, before you start, get yourself a sketchbook. Start sketching now. Warm up your hand, because there will be people on your course that have done foundation and will know all of this. And if you walk into university not knowing this, I didn't, I just thought it was a good idea. But if you walk into university and you haven't warmed up, then you're gonna struggle, and that's not fun. So, get yourself a lovely sketchbook. Can be landscape or portrait, doesn't matter which. Get yourself a good colored pencil. And if you guys have any more questions, then I will be here all summer, and probably the rest of my life. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!